Welcome to Debbie's Grow, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. The Environmental Protection Authority has announced a nationwide ban on the production, importation, distribution, sale, and use of polystyrene foam products, commonly known as styrofoam or takeaway packs, effective January 1st, 2027. The directive follows a policy announcement made by President John Dramani Mahama on June 5th, 2025, during World Environment Day celebration, where he outlined government intention to phase out styrofoam products as part of measures to tackle plastic pollution and protect the environment. In a statement issued on Monday, May 25th, the Environmental Protection Agency said the ban will apply to all expanded polystyrene foam products used for both commercial and domestic purposes. This include food packaging containers and takeaway packs, disposable cups and plates, foam packaging used by restaurants, chop bars, and food vendors, as well as ceiling and insulation materials, foam mattresses and bedding products, packaging and cushioning materials, and any other polystyrene foam products intended for human use and consumption related activities. However, the authority indicated that EPA's products used for medical, scientific, laboratory, and diagnostic purposes will be exempt, subject to regulatory approval. The Environmental Protection Authority explained that the policy is part of broader national effort to improve environmental sanitation, safeguard public health, reduce plastic pollution, and promote sustainable development. It added that the transition period up to 2027 enforcement date will be used for stakeholder engagement, public education, and technical consultation nationwide. During this period, authority will also strengthen compliance monitoring, inspections, and enforcement preparedness. Manufacturers, importers, distributors, users of styrofoam products have been urged to begin shifting towards environmentally friendly, reusable, and recyclable alternative ahead of the ban. The authority further noted that it will collaborate with metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, port authorities, custom officials, and industry regulators to ensure effective enforcement once the policy takes full effect. So the general public is encouraged to support this national environmental protection measure by adopting sustainable consumption practices and environmentally friendly packaging alternatives, the statement added. So, the Environmental Protection Authority has made a nationwide announcement, and that is to be a ban on takeaway packs effective January 1st next year. And I think this is commendable. You see, we use a lot of packages, there's plastic packages, and at the end of the day, the havoc is causing us, especially when it has to do with our environment, is quite unsteppable. I'm saying this because the 90% of the flood issues and all that has to do with the same plastics we are using. And the problem is, how many recycling industries do we have here that can recycle this plastic into reusable goods again? I mean, Ghana, I would say we are now shall I say we are now growing, we are done crawling, we are now trying our possible best to walk with our two legs. They should possibly tell you that we are not firmly grounded yet, in as much as Ghana is grown, but we still have a lot of things that needs to be changed. We have them. I'm not saying we don't have, but we have. But how many of them do we have? Some time ago, there was a documentary that was made by City, and it was an eyesore. They went to some of these fishing communities, and I can boldly tell you that when these fishermen go on sea, they end up catching rubbish, like rubbish, plastic bags, plastic bottles, than fishes. So out of 100, 99% of whatsoever they've catch in the net has to do with plastics and not fish. And this contaminates the same food we take into our system. Those aquatic animals, that is their habitat, that is where they stay. But their place of comfort is now a place of struggle. Those aquatic animals are struggling to survive with this plastics. They are struggling to survive with this rubbers. And you see, sometimes we, the citizens ourselves, are the cause of this whole things, are the cause of this negative impact of the use of this plastic rubbers. I'm saying that because anytime it rains, that is when a normal sane citizen knows that he needs to dispose of his or her refuse. And there were a video that was circulating, and two adult women went to pour a heap of refuse and let me say the flowing, the running rain, like I say the running rain or the flowing water or whatever it is. They're going to dispose the refuse in there, and that is bad. Even our drainage system, the constructed drainage system that we have here, are not even good, because those drainage system that are supposed to aid in easy flow of this water is being choked by rubbish. And 90% of this rubbish I'm talking about is plastics. We use plastic for almost everything here. Even the sandals you go to buy is made up of plastics. Cup, we have disposable plastic cups, disposable plastic plates, disposable plastic spoons. You go to buy food and it's being packaged in a plastic bag. And after we are done using it, we don't get a place to dump these things. They don't degrade instantly. And so it takes much or longer time for these things to decompose. And then we end up hurting our own self. Because when we pollute our own environment, you get affected, I get affected. The air we breathe is being polluted. The water we drink is being polluted. And so I see this as a very good step. I just hope and pray that it's come to pass and then we comply. You see, one of our problems is we are very good in bringing out nice policies and initiatives, but how to ensure that we comply to it is very, very difficult. The supervision and the monitoring is slim. And so we get away to do whatever we want to do because we feel like no one will take us on. But one thing I would say, there should be strict supervision and monitoring, especially restaurants, hotels, and these food vendors who sells. I feel more comfortable when I eat in leaf, wache. When wache is being served in a leaf, it's kind of, I mean, the flavor alone, it has this unique flavor to the wache. I'm telling you the truth. And that is natural. But when you're being served in plates and all that, you don't feel the uniqueness. You're rather taking in poison. I remember some time back there were a directive that we shouldn't be eating in plastic bowls and all that, because when you put hot food in there, it's, there's people, scientists and a whole lot. They were said medically it's not good for our health. And so this issue of plastic, in as much as it's pollute our environment and all that, it also have an adverse effect on our health. It does. And when you take Rwanda and Kenya, they banned the use of plastics. Rwanda and Kenya, they are not better off than Ghana. We can equally do so. And so I'm waiting that this will come to pass and by strict supervision and monitoring, we will adhere to it. And I'm sure this tax should be given to this assembly, to the municipals, the MMDCs. They know their people, they know their locality very well, and these people should go around monitoring and ensuring that the right thing is being done. Please, do not go there to take money. You go there to ensure that the right thing is being done. Are you happy when even our streets get flooded at the slightest drop of water? The streets get flooded, the gutters are choked, they are choked with refuse. And anytime it rains, you can't even go out. You just have to stay indoors. So everything gets normal before you can come out. Like it's very, very bad. And I feel like this is very, very commendable. We should all put ourselves into it and then make it work. We shouldn't make it difficult. We should use the leaves. The leaves. We can eat everything on a leaf. In the olden days, what do they use? Earthenware. We can still eat in that. And I'm sure as they are doing away with these plastic packages, they will bring in paper-like takeaways where your food can be packaged in instead of the rubber. And I think this will really help us, because with that, it can easily burn and easily decompose than the rubber or the plastics we are using. Thank you for making time with me on the screen.